Coming up on KCCI 8 News Close Up, the June 7th primary is less than 60 days away. How redistricting may shake up some races here in Iowa. And he's been a fixture in Iowa politics since 1950s. The challenges Charles Grassley faces as he runs for an 8th term in the U.S. Senate. And Congresswoman Cindy Axne's 3rd district has changed due to redistricting. What has to happen to win her seat for a 3rd time?
This is Iowa's news leader. This is KCCI 8 News Close Up.
Good morning and welcome to Close Up. I'm Scott Carpenter. In less than 2 months, Iowans head to the polls to cast their votes in the June 7th primary election. Now, the primary is for registered Democrats and Republicans to select their party's nominee for the general election in November. KCCI's Amanda Rooker spoke with KCCI political analyst Dennis Goldford about which races to watch in the June 7th primary vote and why the advantages incumbents usually enjoy may not work this time around.
We'll start with just what primary races should Iowans be paying attention to.
When you have an election for legislative seats following redistricting, that always throws an extra factor into the mix. In other words, normally when we look at legislative elections, some executive elections as well, but certainly legislative elections, barring some sort of scandal, incumbents always have an advantage. So typically you might say, who's the incumbent? If there's been no scandal, that person likely has an advantage going into the particular race. What redistricting does following the whole process of reapportionment through the U.S. Census is change the playing field. In other words, the district you ran in may well not be the district, certainly not completely, that you won in successfully in prior races. So on the one hand, you would say incumbents would tend to have an advantage. On the other hand, this is complicated by the fact that redistricting changes the electoral map, and it means typically you lose some voters who supported you last time. You may gain some supporters who supported you last time. You may gain some voters who are not likely to support you. So again, that first election following redistricting, whether it's for the state house, the state senate, or the U.S. House, that changes the dynamic a little bit. For statewide races like governor, U.S. senator, it's always the same. So that's not a factor.
Now, the Republican and Democratic nominations of one U.S. Senate seat will be contested during the June 7th primary. 7-term incumbent Republican Charles Grassley faces a challenge within his own party if he hopes to win an 8th term. Grassley goes up against Jim Carlin for the GOP nomination. On the Democratic side of the ballot, Abby Finkenauer, Michael Franken, and Glenn Hurst face off for their party's nomination and the chance to take on the winning Republican. Now, Grassley has easily won re-election 6 times. KCCI's Amanda Rooker talks with political analyst Dennis Goldford about the challenges Grassley faces as he tries to win another term.
Looking at the U.S. Senate race, obviously, we have Charles Grassley, who's been there for more than 40 years. But what is going through your mind when looking at this Democratic primary? Because before they can even face off against Grassley, they have to pick a nominee who's fit to run against him.
Right. Again, I don't know much about Glenn Hurst. Franken made a run last time in the primary to run against Ernst. He's well regarded by a lot of people across both parties. And of course, Abby Finkenauer, who lost her district after one term, that doesn't bode well for her. But remember, Senator Grassley is an institution here in Iowa. That doesn't mean that some Republicans don't think it's time for him to step down. Chuck Grassley's been on a federal payroll since January of 1975. He spent 3 years in the U.S. House, won election in 1980, has been in the U.S. Senate since January of 1981. So he's been there for a long time. But he's always managed to stay in touch with his constituents in the state. He's always managed to pick up some independent support and maybe a little Democratic support around the edges. He won his first race with 54% of the vote, and I don't think he's been below 60. Maybe it's been 58%. But he's never been in a competitive race since then. So the question for a lot of Republicans, and well, Republicans will support him anyway, but for a lot of independents will be, do they think it's time for him to step down, or at least time for him to vacate the seat, because Republicans aren't going to deprive him of the nomination. So what will previous independent supporters of Senator Grassley do? Will they vote for a new face, even if it's a Democrat, or will they continue to support Senator Grassley, even though he's been in the Senate for almost 40 years already at this particular point?
Well, Charles Grassley is Iowa's senior senator, currently serving his 7th term. He was first elected to the Senate in 1980. Before that, Grassley served 2 terms in the U.S. House, and before that, 4 terms in the Iowa legislature. Grassley has served in one elected office or another since 1959. Now, Grassley's opponent June 7th is fellow Republican Jim Carlin. Carlin is an attorney from Sioux City. He briefly served in the Iowa House in 2017, filling a seat left vacant when Bill Anderson retired from the legislature. He then ran for and won a seat in the Iowa Senate. Carlin is currently serving his 2nd term there. And 3 Democratic candidates face off June 7th for the chance to win the seat currently held by Grassley. Abby Finkenauer is no stranger to politics or to Congress. She served 1 term in the U.S. House from 2019 to 2021, losing re-election to Ashley Hinson. Prior to that, Finkenauer served 2 terms in the Iowa House. Now, one of her opponents is Mike Franken. He grew up in western Iowa and served in the U.S. Navy for 36 years, rising to the rank of vice admiral. Now, this isn't his first primary election. He ran for Senate in 2020, hoping to face off against Republican Joni Ernst, but lost the Democratic primary that year to Teresa Greenfield. The 3rd Democratic Senate candidate is Glenn Hurst. Hurst is a doctor in Minden. He also serves as a city councilman there. His term ends next year. Hurst is also chair of the Iowa Democratic Party's Rural Caucus. Well, Cindy Axne is Iowa's lone Democrat in Congress. What she needs to do to win a 3rd term after redistricting. Plus, Kim Reynolds running for her 2nd full term as Iowa's governor this November. Why Democrats may be fighting an uphill battle to retake Terrace Hill.
Sinking driveway? Call Midwest Foundation.
We're continuing our look ahead to the June primaries here in Iowa, now less than 2 months away. 3 Republicans face off for their party's nomination in Congressional District 3. That's Nicole Hasso, Gary Loeffler, and Zach Nung square off on June 7th for the chance to take on incumbent Democrat Cindy Axne in the general election. Now, early KCCI political analyst Dennis Goldford talked about how redistricting blunts the advantages incumbents usually have in elections. He explains why that's especially true in Axne's case.
We want to pay close attention to Representative Axne in the 3rd. In the 3rd district, which got moved, where Representative Axne is, she's an incumbent. Her district got moved somewhat southeast and east of where she was. She does have the incumbency, but you remember that She's in her second term. And she won her first term in Polk County. She lost the other counties in the district in 2018. The same thing happened in 2020, and her overall vote total in 2020 was less than it was in 2018. So she's got to be nervous in this particular case, even though technically she's an incumbent. But I think if you're looking at the third, you've got to remember, if you're a Republican, that Axne wins or loses that race in Polk County. Again, both of Axne's races in 2018 and 2020, there were 16 counties in the district at that point. She won Polk County with enough of a margin to overcome her deficit in the remaining 15 counties. Now, I've not had time to do the math with the new counties in the new district, but if she can solidify that support in Polk County, she's got a reasonable chance at winning in what looks to be a Republican year anyway. If in some way a Republican challenger can cut into her margins in Polk County, then Axne's got a problem for re-election, even though she'll lose some of those rural counties and pick up some other rural counties. But so much of Iowa politics has taken on a rural versus urban texture to it anyway. Republicans tend to win in the more rural areas. Democrats tend to win in the more urban areas. So for Axne, Polk County is absolutely central for her. If she can improve her margins from last time, or at least hold them from last time, she's got a chance of winning re-election. If a Republican challenger can tap into those margins, then she may have a problem. So if you're a Republican, you want to find a challenger who can certainly energize more of that rural Republican vote, but especially if you can energize more of a Republican vote in Polk County, that'll give you a chance at unseating Representative Axne.
And there are only 2 statewide offices with primary challenges this June. One is Secretary of State. Democrats Joel Miller and Eric Van Lecker look to win the primary and go against incumbent Republican Paul Pates in the November election. 2 Republicans are facing off to be that party's nominee for state auditor, Todd Halber and Marianne Hanusa, both hoping to be the Republican to square off against Rob Sand in the November 8th election. Now, Republicans currently control both the Iowa House and Senate. KCCI political analyst Dennis Goldford takes a look at why the odds of Democrats taking back control is a long shot.
Nobody seriously expects at this point the Iowa Democrats to take control of either house in the Iowa legislature. And again, with the new districts, while most people would expect that Republicans will hold on to the 4th, we don't know about the 3rd, and we don't know for taking over from Axne, and we don't know if Democrats will have any success with Hinson and Miller Meeks at this point. So again, because we're in that first race after redistricting at the level of legislative seats, state and federal, we're in a period of a little bit of flux. For statewide races like the governor's race or Secretary of State or Secretary of Agriculture, you have to look more at the question of incumbency and the extent to which the challenging party, either side, is going to make a full-scale effort to reclaim that seat for themselves. Democrats for Secretary of State or Republicans for Attorney General. How much of an effort will they make to reclaim those seats?
Well, Kim Reynolds is running for her second full term as governor. The challenges she must overcome to pull that off this November. Plus, missed deadlines cost some Iowans their right to cast a ballot in recent elections. The plan of action you should have to make sure your vote is counted.
What makes A+ the best? It's our
Well, every race in the November 8th general election will also appear on the June 7th primary ballot, but not every race is contested within the party. For example, Kim Reynolds will appear as the sole Republican candidate for governor on the primary ballot, just as Deidre DeGear will be the only Democratic candidate that will appear on the ballot. That's because Reynolds and DeGear are the only two major party candidates to gather enough signatures by the March 18th deadline. But three candidates will appear under governor on November 8th's general election ballot. Reynolds and DeGear will be joined by Libertarian candidate Rick Stewart. Now, Reynolds is running for her second full term as governor. She also served 2 years of Terry Branstad's term after he resigned in 2017 to become President Trump's ambassador to China. KCCI political analyst Dennis Goldford shows us why Democrats may have a tough time dislodging her from Terrace Hill.
So why go through the time and the effort and the expense of trying to do that? There's been a lot of criticism of Iowa Democrats from Democrats themselves as to whether, in fact, they are a functioning political party right now. Where is their leadership? Where are their spokespeople? You've got an incumbent governor who really in the most recent Iowa poll does not overwhelmingly run away from her challengers. But she's in a good position as incumbent, and the Democrats have an uphill battle. But if you at least go back to the Branstad years, which would have been, I think he was first elected in '82. I think that was right. From '82 to '22, that's 40 years. You've had 28 years of Republican governors, Branstad and Reynolds, and you've had 12 years of Democratic governors, 2 terms for Governor Vilsack, 1 term for Governor Culver. So at the gubernatorial level, Iowa's been a Republican state for quite a long time.
Well, election laws have changed in Iowa over the last few years. Ballots rejected for missing new deadlines. So next on Close Up, what you need to know to make sure your vote is counted on June 7th.
Join Jason Sudeiko and KCCI.
Well, anyone who wants to vote in the June primary election should have a plan of action to make sure their vote counts. That's according to Paul Pate, Iowa's Secretary of State. KCCI's Amanda Rooker asked Pate what you need to know before you cast a ballot this election year.
We are officially 2 months out to the primary election. So just wanted to start with, what do Iowans need to know to be ready to vote on June 7th?
Well, I think they need to have a plan, we call it, make sure they're ready, to be voter ready, to be more specific. You've got a significant window here to start preparing. The absentee ballot requests are now available. So if you want to request a ballot, if you choose to vote by mail, you can do that right now by requesting that from your county auditor, and then you will be able to return it starting May 18th. And you have 20-day window there to be able to mail those back in or drop it back off at the county auditor's office. You can also vote in person at the county auditor's office anytime after May 18th, right up to the June 7th primary. Those are all options you have available, and we just want to encourage people to think about it a little bit. Make sure you don't miss the deadlines. If you're going to use the mail, I love the post office, but you don't necessarily get overnight deliveries. So you need to allow yourself a window to be successful.
And what changes to voting or changes to election law have happened that Iowans should be aware of?
Well, I think the primary one that's happened in recent years has been the deadline for when the ballots can be accepted. So that means they need to be in the possession of the auditor on May 18th. Excuse me, that's the first day of voting. On the day of June 7th, they have to be there. They can't, it's not about postmarked, it's not about best intentions. That's why I said earlier, allow yourself a window of security to make sure it gets there in person if you're not going to vote in person on election day. And if you choose to do that, you have from 7 o'clock in the morning until 8 o'clock at night. It's about 13 hours of voting opportunity, and we give you about 500 hours of voting window, if you will, if you look at it all. And I kind of remind people when they think that we don't have enough time to vote, but 500 hours is it's like going to the moon 6 times. Okay, so it is a little bit more time than people think. Or better yet, it's like watching the last 10 seasons of the Hawkeye or Cyclones football games. So it's there. You just need to take advantage of it and make sure you have a good plan.
Now, if people want to make sure that they're registered to vote, I guess if they aren't registered to vote, what do they need to do to register? And if they think they might be, what do they need to do to check to make sure that they are?
Sure. Well, they can always check with their county auditor, or they can go to our website. And the easiest way to do that is go to voterready.iowa.gov, and you can check your voter registration status. And if it's not updated, you can do it right there online. It's that easy. And if you want to also just make sure you know where your polling locations are, we have a link right to your county auditor's offices that will list where the polling sites are at as well for you. So again, having this plan, if you will, to be ready and be successful when it comes to election day, those are all your options. And then we want to assure people of the integrity side, that we use paper ballots, that we do pre and post election audits, that we have voter ID at the polls and with our absentee ballot component. And the key thing here, I can't say enough about, is we've got over 10,000 poll workers. Those are your friends and your neighbors. I call them the election heroes. They're the ones that are on the front line, and they're the folks that really give us that assurance of the integrity component. And we can always use more. So if anybody's interested in being a poll worker, you can go to our voterready.iowa.gov site and sign up, and we'll get you in the hands of your county auditor and put you right up to helping us out in that sense.
And when, I know it's still early, but flash forward to June, if you show up on election day, what do you need to bring with you to the poll?
The easiest is just bring some type of identification, like your driver's license or a passport. We have a whole list of items that are acceptable on our website. Again, you can look at if you want to make sure of that. And for those of you who maybe are not sure about if you have a driver's license, I guess you should know, but if you don't have one around you or can't find some other thing, you should have gotten a voter ID card, and you can still get one of those if you don't have any of the more formal IDs by requesting that from your county auditor's office, and they'll get that mailed right out to you, and that will help you out too.
Can you register to vote online, or do you need to go to the county auditor's office to register?
You can do it right online, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Just excuse me, take advantage of the opportunity to tag in on the system and get yourself signed up.
And what does turnout typically look like for a primary election?
Well, it's a little lighter because it's more of a party building. The Democrats and Republicans have a primary. So they're the folks who will be coming out. Now, non-parties can choose to cross over and become a Democrat or Republican in a primary and have a voice on only one, not both, but one of the primary sides. So it's a little smaller audience. So when you look at the overall numbers, it's going to be substantially less than you'll see this fall when everybody who's registered to vote will be eligible. And we've seen record trends in the last 3+ elections of higher numbers every time.
Now, Iowa is a closed primary state. That means the only voters that can cast a ballot must be registered with the Democratic or Republican Party. Voters can change their party affiliation anytime before the primary election or at the polling place on election day. Now, there are a number of deadlines voters who plan to cast a ballot this June need to know about. April 21st is the last day to petition to have a satellite voting station set up. That petition must be in the county auditor's office by 5 p.m. Now, May 18th is the first day you can vote absentee at your county auditor's office. And May 23rd is the deadline to pre-register to vote and to request an absentee ballot by mail. But you can vote absentee in person at your local auditor's office until June 6th. The primary election is June 7th. Polls are open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Absentee ballots can also be dropped off at your local county auditor's office until 8 p.m. that day as well. Now, even after the June 7th vote, there are still a number of deadlines connected with the primary. June 9th, each county auditor must post the number of provisional ballots in each precinct by 9 a.m. and must decide by noon whether to reconvene the special precinct board to consider provisional ballots, safe-at-home absentee ballots, and overseas citizens and military ballots. Overseas and military citizens and safe-at-home ballots postmarked before primary election day will still count if they arrive at the county auditor's office by noon on June 13th. Each county must canvass or ensure every valid ballot is counted June 13th or 14th. Any candidate who wants a recount must turn in a written request to the county auditor no later than 5 p.m. 3 days after the county canvasses the vote. The state canvass of the primary vote must be completed by July 4th. Well, thank you for joining us for KCCI 8 News Close Up. We will see you back here same time next Sunday. Have a fantastic day.